Hello, it's your boy Ken, live from the Philippines. Today we are going to be taking a look at the Razer DeathAdder V3 HyperSpeed. This is Razer's latest release. It is basically a DeathAdder V3 Mini. Before we dive deeper, I just want to quickly talk about what's in the box. Unboxing experience is basic since Razer cares about the environment. I do appreciate the packaging materials of choice. They are all recyclable materials and they're using the soy ink that I always see in their packaging, which is pretty based. Inside the box, you find the mouse, a USB-A to USB-C rubber cable, your wireless dongle, your manual, and a Razer sticker. I was hoping to find an included 8K dongle, grip tape, or at least an extra set of skates, but that might just not be feasible on their end. Something like a cleaning cloth would be really nice because I can't, just give it some hot tool, what I'm saying, and spit on that thing to clean it. But hey, maybe in the future releases, we get to see something like this. That would be really, really nice and appreciated. Coming at $100, this is Razer's best value wireless mouse in their lineup so far. I'm a little bit confused as to why this is labeled as HyperSpeed, as you guys can see from the box. As far as I know, HyperSpeed is their budget line that is using mechanical switches and AA or AAA batteries. This mouse, despite it being under the HyperSpeed line, it did actually receive some improvements over the OG DeathAdder V3 Pro. You now get a smooth touch coding, a new encoder that is in the Viper V3 Pro. It has a much more tighter steps, a better sensor placement. It's now centered as opposed to the old sensor position, as you guys can see, which is a bit far back. Quick side to side real quick for you guys. And if you don't notice, you now have a USB dongle storage underneath. If this is something important to you, then it's great news, I guess. The DeathAdder V3 HyperSpeed also uses the same Razer Gen 3 optical switches. Now, I'm not sure if it's because the mouse is new or what, but the HyperSpeed has a much more tighter and more tactile clicks as opposed to the OG version. The DeathAdder V3 HyperSpeed is using this new Focus X 26K optical sensor. It is basically a lesser Focus Pro 35K Gen 2 sensor. It can go up to 8000 Hz polling rate. Hyper polling dongle sold separately, but you don't have motion sync, asymmetric cutoff, and sensitivity matcher. On the other hand, you get new features such as dynamic sensitivity, which is basically a raw axle built into the software and rotation tool. In terms of real-world performance, though, I don't feel any difference. I think we're at the point where sensor doesn't really matter because we're already at the peak. Perhaps moving forward, we might see a more and more efficient sensor, which means same or better performance while consuming lesser power and longer battery life at higher polling rates. Also, I just want to get this out of the way. Performance is solid, and I don't really see the need to talk about this in the video. The mouse is flawless, wireless tech and all that are flawless. When it comes to performance, Razer is in the upper echelon, and I don't feel any difference between this mouse versus their Pro flagship models in terms of performance. This mouse weighs 53 grams and the build quality is solid for now. There's no flexing on the shell or creaking, but I do have something rattling inside. It is a very minor thing, but I think it might just be a wire hitting the sidewall. Unfortunately, I don't want to open the mouse since I don't have any extra skates. It might just be my unit. You guys already know Razer's mouse degrades really fast, just like my Viper V3 Pro that is squeaking after 1 week of usage. But perhaps that might just be a bad unit, but I can't possibly be getting bad units every time I buy Razer. The OG DeathAdder V3 Pro that I have to RMA that 3 times in total due to encoder issues and click issues. I had the best luck with their DeathAdder V3 wired model, and it's been treating me real nice. By the way, since I mentioned the wired version, I do recommend this mouse. It's pretty based. Weight balancing on the HyperSpeed is proper, which is really nice. Clicks are great, tensioning is right, and they're very consistent. Like I mentioned earlier, they feel more tactile, but over time expect them to soften up a little bit. One thing I noticed about Razer's optical switches is that it has some break-in period. Scroll wheel steps has nice defined steps. Mouse button 3, very easy to use and requires a medium amount of force to actuate. Side buttons are like the OG version. It's fantastic. It has very little pre-travel and barely any post-travel. They feel nice to use and the placement is excellent, making them easy to hit. Also, they changed the skate design so you guys can see. It's now using 2 big skates for front and back, which is something I really like. They are very good quality and there's really no need for an aftermarket. Now, when it comes to the shape of the DeathAdder V3 HyperSpeed, it is great. I think people who has 18:9 hands and below are going to enjoy this mouse. I have 19:10 hands and I do find this mouse to be a bit uncomfortable. It has something to do with my grip style. If I use an ergo mouse, I tend to use a relaxed claw grip. Right off the bat, I do notice that the HyperSpeed is a lot narrower on the side and also towards the rear. It also has a less aggressive hump in the middle. Compared to other small ergo mice in the market, I find that the NPO1S and EC3 to be a lot more comfortable than the DeathAdder V3 HyperSpeed. While using the HyperSpeed, it makes me miss the OG DeathAdder's rear. The OG fills my mid to rear palm, and to me that is actually a lot more comfortable, and also it makes me a bit more stable while spraying in game. Now, I just want to let you guys know what works for me might not work for you, and that is something you need to keep in mind. Now, if you have small to medium hands and you palm, relax claw, and claw grip, this is something I can recommend. If you have medium to large hands, you can fingertip this mouse if you'd like, and you can also claw grip this mouse. I think someone who has 18:9 hands and below are going to enjoy this mouse. The DeathAdder V3 HyperSpeed gets a W and a recommendation from me. I like the product and I wish the shape worked out for me. I think the shape is really good. The coating is decent. Clicks, side buttons, scroll wheel, sensor placement, weight balancing, performance are all very nice. All of this for $100. I don't think you can go wrong with this. I hope Razer releases this in white colorway. That would be really, really dope. And that is it for this video. Thank you for watching.